Hi, welcome to Talk About here on Shaw TV North Island. My name is John Twigg. Looking forward to a new season here on Shaw Access. And as a result, we're going to have a sponsor, Brian Shaw of Mackey Research. Thank you, Brian, for sponsoring Talk About. And this little black mark on my nose is a temporary injury. I was moving some furniture and had an accident, and I'd like to do a shout out to Dr. Shannon Hammersley at Campbell River Emergency for stitching me up. He did a great job. Now, we've got some great guests this season, and one of them is with me today, Don Daniels, the fishing columnist. Don, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me here. We should be fishing today.
Is the weather all right for fishing?
Yeah, it's okay. A little wet, but hey,
yeah.
We can fish 12 months of the year here in Campbell River.
Well, I read your column every Friday in the Mirror, and one of the recent ones says, well, only the diehards are going out. Are they going out for winter springs? Is that what they call them?
No, well, the winter springs are going out, and a lot of the locals are fishing Willow Point, the Hump, the Lighthouse. The rivers could be a little bit high and murky at the moment, but hey, weather pending, we're going fishing.
Right on. Well, how long have you been doing this column? It's a very nice looking column.
It started in 2011.
Okay.
And then this is year number 5.
Well, and what's it aimed at? What's the purpose?
The Fishing Corner is aimed at newcomers to Campbell River. We work with all the tackle shops in Campbell River and Courtenay. We work with the fishing guides. Yeah. It's an information base to people who are new to Campbell River, who want to know what is happening, saltwater and freshwater. Yeah. So it's a friendly user. People are catching fish and they either email me or call me. And the local guides I work with, I'm out in the water at least 3-4 times a week in the summertime, and maybe 2 times a week now. So it's weather pending and whatever has to be done. We're out there covering the scene. Yeah.
Do you do shore fishing as well?
We do it all.
And freshwater too, then, of course.
Freshwater, yeah.
And you know, we've got a sample of flies. You tie your own flies?
Hundreds.
What's the stories here?
This is a golden lady, and matter of fact, the large ones are duplicates of steelhead flies used by Peg Brown and a number of avid anglers years gone by.
I'll just hold some of these up for the camera for a second.
And if you see the bigger hook, they're meant to be ornamental. Yeah. For example, the Royal Coachman. Yeah. They're just bigger versions that can be framed, but they're all can be used at certain times of the year.
Now, I saw the big hook and I asked, I think a semi-smart, maybe a dumb question. Is it meant to keep the small fish away?
That's quite possible. It's, for some of us, we like to see the bigger version. And when we teach newcomers how to tie flies, we start off big and do the basics and then go small and then just take it from there. Yeah,
okay. Now, trends in sports and commercial fishing. Any thoughts? More Americans coming, fewer salmon, whatever, I don't know.
The dollar is getting better for the Americans, and when we were talking with the Tourist Information Center last year, a lot of people coming in from the Vancouver mainland area, and a lot were coming in from the United States, but there's a big contingent of fishermen that come in from the UK, Germany, Italy, because it's cheaper to fish and it's better access to the rivers and saltwater. So we have more fun in Canada.
Is there better fishing here too, because it hasn't been fished out as much as other places?
In the past 2 years, it's been really good. We work with the guides at Painter's Lodge. We work with all of the independent guides. For the past 2 years, good weather and the fish are back. Mm-hmm. So there's no complaints. Hey, if you can get out, you're going to get fish. Yeah.
Well, what about global warming and ocean acidification? I thought it was killing off everything. Not yet, eh?
I have good fishing, and John, I really don't know about the global warming. I'm into good fair weather fishing.
Fair or foul, yeah. Now, there's a story in the paper, The Colonist, on the 19th. First Nations DFO agree on herring plan. I'm not up on the details of that, but I know in recent years the supply of herring was a concern because there was increased harvesting of the roe on kelp. And I don't know if that's being adjusted. What's your perspective on the...
All I know about herring, it's great salmon bait.
Yeah. But is
there's herring out there. Commercially, I don't keep track, John, of the commercial catches or the quotas. We use herring for bait.
Yeah. So, there was also concern about the migratory fish passing fish farm pens where there's sea lice and all that, and allegedly they were killing more fish than was desirable, perhaps. But there still seems to be lots of fish.
There's lots of fish, and
Yeah.
matter of fact, they're coming back each and every year. So
Why are they coming back?
I think it's just the way that the environment is. There's,
Just cyclical?
the hatcheries are doing their thing.
Yeah.
The government's doing their thing, right or wrong, and everybody's happy.
Yeah.
You would hear about it if there were no fish in and around Campbell River. You would hear about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm of the cyclical thing too. I think some of this global warming is more cyclical than it is anthropogenic. Look it up in the dictionary. Human caused, that means. But anyway, we won't debate that. There's lots to get to. How's the Tyee Club doing?
They had 15 catch reports last year, as compared to 9 the previous year.
Yeah. And Tyee is over 30 pounds?
Over 30, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot more people getting involved with the Campbell River Tyee Club.
Yeah.
It's good old-fashioned fun. You get out there in a single rowboat, single hook, plug,
Yeah.
or a spoon. You're being rowed by Randy Killarnon, was the top rower last year. He got into 4 Tyee for his customers. So
Wow.
it's been fun.
Roy Grant rows too, I gather. The
I
famous
had-
realtor.
I had a chat with Roy Grant because I mentioned that Roy Beach in Sayward hooked into a 55-pound spring last year. Roy said, "I don't fish that way. I'm a single rod," and Roy is quite avid in the Tyee Club, and you'll see him in the pool each and every weekend out there in the summertime.
Yeah, okay. Now, this is Talk About here on Shaw TV North Island, and we have a scoop. You haven't read about this, heard it on the radio. There's a new kid in town, a new derby coming. What's the story?
I think a fishing derby has been long overdue in Campbell River.
Yeah.
And I know we've bantered about it over the past couple of years. It's a lot of work to get it organized, and you just don't start a fishing derby. Royal LePage Advance Realty, Mark Raniger.
Is that where Roy went, by the way?
No,
He went to
Roy's over at
Coast.
Remax.
Yeah.
And Deanna Collins and the folks at Royal LePage said, "We're going to hold a fishing derby."
Huh.
I sat in on the meetings just before Christmas time, and it has been confirmed that the date will be June the 11th in Campbell River, and it'll be a one-day cash. Hey, biggest fish is going to take the cash. It'll be prizes. And
So there's an entry fee.
the entry fee is probably around $30, but complete.
So the prize money's from the sponsors.
Yeah, and matter of fact, the Campbell River Salmon Foundation, all the proceeds will be going towards salmon enhancement in Campbell
Awesome.
River. And also, there's been talk too about the proceeds, some of the proceeds going towards the women's shelter. So
Oh, nice.
that'll be ironed out. There'll be a press release coming out in February, but this is going to be big news for Campbell River.
Yeah.
Tyee Marine has always had their annual fishing derby. It's for fun and prizes. Nobody has had one in years as far as, hey, you pay your entry fee, proceeds
Yeah.
are going to go towards salmon enhancement.
So some of these sports shows might come out and cover it.
Possibly could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Now, there's also this family fishing derby at Roberts Lake. What's the story there?
I've been involved with Lorna Duncan, who's been at Roberts Lake for up 10 years now. This is year number 5.
Okay.
Every third Saturday in September, it's a family fun fishing derby. No charge. Come out and fish off the dock, fish off the boat, fish off the boat launch on the south end of the lake. And it's put on by Lorna Duncan as a thank you to the community. Lemonade is all the pop is free. She serves chili and hot dogs. Starts at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we have the prize presentations at about 4 or 5 in the afternoon. And it's open to everybody. So that's the third Saturday in September.
Okay. Now, there's also some kind of a family fishing day.
Yeah, that's in the summertime. That's
Okay.
where you don't have to have a license. You can
Yeah.
fish anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know the date of that offhand?
It's
Or-
usually around the first week in July.
Okay, yeah, that Canada Day
Yeah.
rings a bell for that too. Okay. Now, locals versus tourists. You mentioned earlier, like Germans coming here, but how does it split up in terms of, like who are the locals by far the most active, or in the summer it's mostly tourists? I don't know.
There's a big combination of all of the above, John.
Yeah.
The tourists that come into Campbell River, the locals who own boats, who fish. Why do you think I moved to Campbell River? Number one, I'm a fisherman.
Yeah. Well, when did you move?
I was here in 2009.
Well, that's fairly recent.
Yeah.
Oh, well, so you, where were you before?
I came up from Edmonton, Alberta.
So you
Born
were-
and raised in the prairies, Saskatchewan, and we decided to move to Campbell River.
For-
Blair McLean brought me out here in the early 80s on a
Okay.
fishing trip to Knights Inlet.
Huh.
And I said, hey, I'm in heaven
So you were a fisherman in Edmonton, probably.
in Edmonton.
Yeah, but it's a little bit better here.
It's a whole different style.
Yeah.
No more ice fishing in Edmonton.
Yeah, you can have it, thanks.
Great trout fishing in the summertime in
Yeah.
Alberta.
Yeah,
And
I think the fish taste better here. 'Cause, I mean, I was in Saskatchewan for 10 years, and we get lake fish from the north sometimes.
Okay.
But it was so oily,
yeah,
and I guess because of the cold water or something. But oh my, fresh fish out
my
of the ocean.
grandfather in Priestville, Saskatchewan, took me in a boat when I was very small. Pike fishing. Well, we
Yeah.
didn't do any perch. We just trolled for pike.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sunday afternoon with Grandpa.
Yeah, interesting. Um, tell me a bit about river fishing. Well, like with the Campbell, it's running high right now, and the Quinsom's muddy right now. But
You know, what's been happening in the Campbell River in the summertime, of course, the big pink run,
Yeah.
Midsummer. And that's fun fishing for kids, people going out. There's a steelhead run in the wintertime. Not as good as it used to be, but
Yeah.
there are some of the old rods who are getting older, and some of the guys like Bob Gordon can't get around as much, but they still go out and flog the rivers and go for steelhead. Of course,
Yeah.
catch and release cutthroat trout all the time.
Yeah.
You can fish here 12 months of the year.
yeah, the oyster is dear to me because I grew up in Oyster
Okay.
Bay a little bit. Every summer I was up here, but I gather the fishing in there has sort of gone down a bit. But I don't know,
I think it depends.
time of year.
Steelhead fishing is, I think I learned how to go out and chase steelhead in Kitimat when I first came to BC. Are the fish there? I don't know, but there are avid guys who go out certain times, and
Yeah, yeah. How valuable is it to have a guide?
it depends how much you want to spend.
Yeah, well, your success ratio, does it go way up if you have a guide?
John, it depends on who wants to pay to get a fish. There are
Yeah.
people that come, they need a guide because they just don't know the waters. And for example, Painters has a nest of 12 fishing guides who know the waters backwards. They know the tides.
Yeah.
Bruce
the
Aikman,
holes.
Bruce the Goose, has been fishing here forever. He knows when to go out.
Yeah.
And some of the people who want to come up here and try Campbell River don't have a boat license, so get a guide.
Yeah. I think some of the guides at Painters have been there like 40 years or something.
Well, I think Bruce has been the longest. So,
Yeah.
and a lot of them log over 900 hours
Yeah.
a year.
Yeah. When I was a kid up here in the summers, the California plates, like it was almost every second car it seemed.
That's
And-
how the high school guys made their money.
Yeah.
Skip out of high school and go fish guide. I didn't say that, did I?
Well, you weren't here then. How would you know? Yeah. Okay. Haig Brown, how important is he to the local fishing scene? Or,
Well, with his books and his knowledge and his conservation efforts, he's put Campbell River on the map. I mean,
yeah.
authors and people who fish read his books, and big news. Yeah.
Now, the Haig Brown Festival, which I think was, well, I'm not sure of the dates on it, but I think there's talk about maybe moving the date or the location or something. I don't know. Do you have any news on that?
I don't have any news on that, John, but I know it's always been in late summer,
Yeah.
and I think the venue has always been at the Big Brown House.
Yeah.
So
Well, the last one was on a Sunday. I know, I was out there.
Okay.
But there was a parking problem because, of course, the Vineyard Church meets on Sunday. And I'm trying to get them to move it to BC Day, which is a Monday, a long weekend Monday. But I don't know. I haven't really pushed it. But,
yeah, to be determined.
Yeah, okay. Now, Kingfisher Creek as well, which runs sort of through the Haig Brown property. I poked in there the other day, and it looks like it needs to be cleaned up. Do you have anything on that?
I don't, John. I don't have any information on the creek. I've never fished on that spot, so I really can't.
It's pretty small.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think, the spawning that happens in small creeks, we live, Laura and I, on Sims Creek.
Okay.
And there's a big fish run in there.
There is.
Yeah.
And I know the people who monitor fish counts. There's salmon going through there all the time.
Yeah. So it's a great resource to have. The Camel River Salmon Foundation, anything news there?
Well, they'll be receiving some cash from the fishing derby.
Yeah.
On June 11th.
Yeah. They have a big banquet, don't they?
Yeah, they have a banquet. Along with the Campbell River Salmon Foundation, Pacific Salmon Foundation. They have their banquet in February. Of course, it's all for salmon enhancement.
Yeah. How do you feel about the fish hatchery and like where I'm going with this? If you're breeding, I don't know, artificial isn't the right word, but if they overgrow the hatchery fish, do they crowd out some of the natural fish?
I think in some cases, because it's fish traffic going in and out, when you have a heavy run of pinks like we've had 2 years ago, and a heavy run, it's just supply in numbers. Yes, there's lots of pinks in there, and talking to some of the anglers who know the fish counts, and talking to some of the people involved with the fish hatcheries from last year, they have a count and they know what's they know what's coming in and what's going out.
Yeah.
The coho tend to find their hiding spots, but hey, when you got a big run of pinks, sometimes mixed in with coho, there are springs. Matter of fact, John, we have 5 species of salmon going through there at certain times, some more abundant than others.
Well, that's why the Campbell River is one of the great rivers of the world, even though it's 11 kilometers, 7 miles long.
And great water too. So, yeah.
And well, because of the lakes, they've got huge lakes. Yeah. But one of the things that I know about the hatchery is that the cost of raising the different species varies widely, because I think pinks, they stay in the fresh water for like 6 months and then they're out to sea. Is that right?
Yeah, they'll be coming in here in midsummer, and they're pretty much done in September.
But the Chinooks, they stay in fresh water for 2 years, was it?
John, I'm not quite sure how long they stay, but they come in and do their eggs and spawning, and then they're done.
Yeah.
A steelhead come and go.
Okay, but that's one of the problems with growing more tai. Like how can we make the supply of tai go up?
I'm not sure on that.
Grow more Chinooks.
Grow more.
Yeah, but I mean, can we help their habitat? I see that there's a gravel thing happening. Actually, right now I was out looking at Elk Falls recently, as we're recording yesterday, because they had a flow 10 times normal to clear out some debris. But I also saw a map out there, and Chaz, I may send the photo if I can find it. But they're building some new roads to put gravel into the river to improve the spawning.
I think what is happening too, John, is that the Campbell River Fish and Wildlife, they all monitor what's going on, and so they all work together because they're volunteers, and the hatchery people work with the river environment. So always work in progress.
You've only been here since 2009, but how do you feel about the province and the federal jurisdiction sort of overlapping or conflicting? Do you think we need a czar of fishing, or is it all right as it is?
You're always going to get changes.
Yeah.
You're going to buy a fishing license. I'm going to buy a
I'm not
fishing
gonna buy a
license.
fishing license.
Okay, you probably get one free.
Because I'm a senior? Do seniors get free fishing licenses?
Geez, I'm cropping up there pretty soon too. Was it $1 or something?
I don't know.
I'm not there yet.
When I was
yet.
a kid up here every summer, we used to catch fish by the dozens out front. And when I took my kids out, we were lucky to get 1 or 2 a night. It's changed a lot.
Oh, it's changed a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's going to be more changes,
Yeah.
coming down the line. It's
Yeah. I used to love rockfish. Before we go, I want you're also with the Shoreline Arts Society.
Shoreline Arts.
What's happening there? That's the carving contest at Willow Point.
Frank James Park,
Yep.
20th anniversary this year.
Wow.
Yeah, 20th anniversary. Max Chikite started it.
Yeah.
Max is still with us. And already we have 15 confirmed carvers. And we always have 22, 23 in number. So it'll be, it's always the last week in June.
Yeah.
So the carvers start on the Wednesday, it's June 29th,
Yeah.
and wrapping up on the following Sunday. I think
Yeah.
it's July 3rd this year or something.
What's the blonde-haired guy? Not Randy, is it?
Oh, Ryan.
yeah, Ryan Cook. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he coming again?
He'll be back.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
He's such a character. I love it. He does good work too. I think he's deserved to win, and he keeps getting second place.
Yeah, he always places in there, and with the judging,
Yeah.
when you come to Campbell River, you got to be prepared because it's a tough venue.
Oh,
and,
absolutely. Junior
Yeah,
Henderson.
Junior Henderson. I think what we're finding out too, John, is that people coming in, maybe they've been newcomers to carving, or maybe they've been 15, 16. It's a
Yeah.
family affair. They all talk,
Yeah.
work together,
Yeah.
and the quality of work is getting better each and every year.
I
I think
agree
if
with
you
that.
saw the carvings from last year, you just
did.
go, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
So they learn, and they learn from each other. And, for some of them, it's almost like a holiday for the week. So.
Well, last year there was a guy from, I'm not sure if it was Denmark or the Netherlands.
Amsterdam's, yeah.
Amsterdam, yeah. He came in, and, I think he thought he was pretty good, and he was. But I don't think he wasn't the best.
It was a good piece of art,
Yeah.
a great carving. And when we go through the judging criteria, and when we talk to the judges,
Sorry, folks, if you can hear that.
You've got
I think
8
Somebody's moving furniture.
John, you've got 8 eyes looking and judging the carvings
Yeah.
who know what's going on. So,
Yeah.
they have a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
And, like any judge event, I didn't win, or that could have scored higher. Yeah, it's always interesting each and every year.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention this. What's going on here, Don?
That was we call that a conversation piece.
Okay.
That fish was towed around the United States, Canada. Painter's Lodge used it as a promo in the late 80s and 90s.
Is it a real fish?
No, it's a conversation piece. It was built. Matter of fact, we have it in storage right now.
Okay.
And it's twice the size of this table and probably as long.
Okay, so if this guy's 180 pounds, this fish is 200.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah, so
They took it to all the trade shows. We call it a conversation piece.
Okay.
We'll be
I
talking.
thought it was real.
It looks real.
Yeah.
We're talking to a couple of Campbell River artists who will be touching it up a little bit. It's in perfect condition. It's been in storage. It has a little wear and tear, but Campbell Riverites will see this this summer in and around Campbell.
Great.
Maybe we'll
Put
have
it in the parade.
We'll put it in your show here.
Well, actually, we can do that. Yeah, okay. Now, we're just about out of time, but Don, if people need to reach you or want to reach you, are you approachable?
I get emails and phone calls from people all over Canada.
Do you put your email in your column?
Yeah. They can email dddon27@yahoo.com.
This is his column here.
And the phone number is 250-895-1691.
So-
Or just pop by the mirror and leave a message.
Yeah, okay, good. Well, thank you, Don, for coming in.
I know we've talked about
Did we miss something?
fishing. No, I think
we
we
did
covered
pretty
everything.
well. That's
We're lucky to live in such a prestige fishing area.
Oh, absolutely.
And let's keep it that way. It's
Yeah.
fun, get the family out. More and
Yeah.
more families,
Yeah.
more and more women are getting involved in fishing, so it's all great.
Yeah. You know, Campbell River is a great community, and it's not just for the fishing. There's a lot of good things happening here. I chose to live here for that. And, you know, we've had authors moving here, Andrew Nikifork. There's people moving here out of choice, and I think for good reason. So, and Talk About's one of the reasons too. So thank you, Chaz. Thank you, Valerie. Thank you, Laura. And Gord, thank you too. And thank you for watching Talk About on Shaw TV.